Yakehati Adi, thank you for coming today. We want to give a little time in case others join. Uh, Today, we want to um, just relax instead of we made you work hard on the newspaper, and so we thought uh, for this week you could just sit back and relax and take notes if you want, but you don't have to. And I'll give you some history and culture uh, of that I know, and I want to pass it on because I used to hear it from my parents were very strict in the culture. They wanted me to know about it, and it the language. I was thinking about it the other day that at no time in my life with my parents did they ever say, you have to show respect. You must be respectful. They never said that, never. They just told me how I'm supposed to act with old people or people in need, uh, to to show kindness and to be helpful and not take advantage of people, old people. So uh, uh, it was kind of like on a daily basis to for my father. My brother and I used to uh, make money, lots of money, pennies, uh, because the water, uh, the fresh water was only outside. Nobody had nobody had water inside the house. So uh, there was water faucets outside, and if you can imagine the water running on the ground and freezing. So here's all this ice around the water. So we used to take a bucket and go because my dad said you can go to the movies if you want to, but I'm not going to give you money for it. You have to earn it yourself. So we used to go. We figured it out. We needed 26 cents, and they showed movies once a week. So we would go and knock on the door and say, do you need water? And they would say yes or no. And we felt lucky uh, when some woman was going to do the laundry and she needed a lot of water, which meant a lot of pennies. So there were times when we made 26 cents. A lot of times we didn't. So when the movies was 11 cents for each of us, it was 22 cents. And uh, then we needed another nickel so it was 27 cents um, to be able to go to the movies. And you get a little bag of candy to go into the movies to try to it was called hot chaws. Yeah. And it had one piece of bubble gum and one small piece of candy and a gift. So my brother and I had, okay, last time I had the bubble gum, you can have it this time. So it was a treat. And a lot of times we didn't get it because we didn't make enough money. Uh, and as we go out the door with our bucket, my dad used to say, "You can't charge the old people." Just a reminder. So nowadays, people just kind of flaunt the word around. Be respectful. You got to respect. Uh, I don't think I ever heard that word when I was young. So there are different ways of passing on the information to show kindness and and to help the old people. So yeah. Anyway, uh, the history I wanted to tell you about today is about Haynes. And I went to Haynes a lot when I was young because my mother was a Chilkat, and the Lingit word for Chilkat is Jispat, JILK_AAT, Jispat. So uh, we would go to Haynes to visit people, relatives, and all. And so it was a really a nice town. I considered it a town, uh, and it was built. Most of the houses were along the water side, and
Oh,
so
that would be an email.
I think once or twice we were going to go to
Yeah,
Kwakwan,
you're welcome. Have a good day.
but we couldn't get a ride to go there. And another time, my parents got to go, and we got left with friends. So I never did really go to Kwakwan. But Haynes is in history. It's interesting to me to note that the word Haynes is the only town in the Southeast villages that is named after a woman. And I don't know who or why, but anyway, that was kind of a special note that I ran across. But Haynes was uh, called the end of the road, but the Chilkat people had control over the routes, trading routes that went out of Haynes area, and it was common. It wasn't a brand new thing to make a trail, so the uh, the Haynes roads that led to all these different places were controlled by uh, I think the Chilcats, and and there was a charge, there was a fee to go. It wasn't money, of course, and but uh, in the writings, Haynes was found by the white people in 1879. I thought, wow, that was really, really early. Uh, although it's not that early because the southeast was there was a lot of people already living, and it it was a store that opened up, in Haines. So the store that was there was really an old one. And it was really common. So
Hi, this is Carl.
when
Can I help you?
the gold rush began and people began to rush to go up to the
Okay,
Klondike,
let me
the
put
the
together
known
ticket.
path to go to Klondike was in Haines, and it wasn't a trail
What was your last name
that
again?
the
Spell it.
gold rush people made trying to get up there. It was already a road that was used for trade by the Clinkets.
And your first
So
name
it was a ready-made trail. My dad, I think he was a teenager
And you said
because
it
at
was,
that time
it's the main
they
problem?
were the people that rushed to the gold for the gold brought a lot of things. In fact, uh, in the History Channel, they were talking about going up the trail and finding a piano about halfway, sitting there still.
Okay, so
And
trouble activating orders.
so they dropped a lot of things that they just couldn't manage. But they hired
Actually,
look at
that's an
men
IT thing. IT is the only one that has
to
access
carry
to that.
things up
Yeah, we can't do
trail
that. And all
to
of,
the Klondike Gold.
yeah,
The
all
gold,
I'm doing is pay the ticket and I'm gonna
the
send it,
gold
and then someone will be calling.
at
So
Klondike
hold on one moment. Let me
was
finish putting it
discovered
together
by
for
a
you.
Clinket.
See,
They called him
putting
Chilkoot Charlie.
orders for blood draw.
And the law at that time, this before 1879, um, the law said natives cannot own anything or they can't claim anything. So Chilkoot Charlie discovered the gold, and a man that was there with him told him, "You can't claim it, but I can claim it for you." And I'm not sure what the result of that was, but anyway, that's how the Klondike Gold Rush began. And so the Clinkets that owned the
where you
road
right click,
that went up to
the option
Klondike
is not there.
tried to charge the gold rushers for using the road, and they were just pushed aside. Said, "Forget it. We're not going to pay you." So
Okay, and I'm gonna put in here to
they
call you.
ended up
What's a good number?
just taking over the trail, and they paid Clinkets to carry things
Because it sounds like it'd be
for
better if
them.
they talked to you personally.
And I think my dad and his best friend was one of them as teenagers. And what it was they paid you to go up the trail, but they don't pay you to come back. So they got up there and they were stuck.
2214.
They didn't have the means to come back because that was such a long trail. And so they got acquainted with some of the people that were there at the time. Of course, they knew Chilkoot Charlie because he was from their area, and so they knew him. And Soapy Smith showed up, and he was real famous as a gunfighter. And I don't quite know his history, but it wasn't that good. And my dad and his best friend used to tell stories about Soapy Smith and the things that they talked to Chilkoot Charlie about. And so they said people were, some people were up there selling stuff. And in order to eat, you had to buy the food from these people. And pilot bread, one cracker was $10. So you had to work all day to get, I guess, enough. But they finally got jobs. This is my dad telling the story. They got jobs in order to make it back to Haynes. And they uh, began working for this guy that really had a lot of gold. And in the evening, when they finished working, they all had to line up to be examined by somebody
Hi, Ruth,
so
it's
that they're
Carl.
not
Sorry about that, we got
carrying
disconnected.
any gold with them in their ears or in
Yeah,
their
okay,
nose or in
I
their
was able to
mouth
create your
and
ticket.
all over their body.
And give you the ticket
So
number through email.
they had to
So
be
you'll get an
examined
email.
in order to
It'll be
leave.
labeled Churwell. It won't have my
So
name on it, it'll say Churwell.
my dad and his friend had to go through that because that was the only job they could get in order to leave. And uh, the Salvation Army General Evangeline Booth showed up there at the Klondike.
So you have an errand to run
and
she'll be right back.
She really got a lot of converts.
Okay.
And that includes Soapy Smith became converted and became a Christian. And so my dad and his best friend got acquainted with the Salvation Army. So they headed back down the trail. They ended up in Skagway. And so while they were in Skagway, Soapy Smith came down, and so did Salvation Army Evangeline Booth in Skagway. And so Soapy Smith was living a peaceful life, and he was in Haynes for a while. And then this one guy decided, in order to become famous, that he would kill Soapy Smith. So that's what he did. So I don't really know the full story about how it all happened, but I do know that Soapy Smith was no longer a criminal, and that he was living a peaceful life in Skagway. But Haynes was apparently quite open to a lot of things. And one of the things that happened was early in the 1900s, the military moved in. And I was kind of surprised to find out that the barracks and the military was there all through the war, and they didn't leave until 1944, as far as I can figure out. That the military was stationed, U.S. Army was stationed there. And um, I don't know where the barracks were, but I think they were still there at the time that we used to go up there, but I never really saw military. But when my mom, like I said, she was from Haines. My dad came up there and they got married. Uh, Everybody was excited because it was a big event, and so the officer from the barracks came down and said, um, "Is it all right for the soldiers to come to the wedding reception to because they just want to see the event?" So they agreed to allow them to come. So it was a dance after the wedding, the reception, and so my mom said the soldiers lined up to dance with her. And my mom was really, my mom was quite small. She was petite, and she danced. I found her wedding dress and her uh, wedding shoes, the little tiny heels on her slippers. And as far as I'm concerned, that's Cinderella's feet would have to be in there because even at my age, the age that I was, my feet were already too big for that kind of shoes. It was so beautiful, satin covered, white, and she had a pink wedding dress with a big sash. It was lace, and it wasn't a big wedding gown. It was just a dress, but it was really, really pretty. And she said she danced all night with the different soldiers. So she could hardly walk after that. But um, so the military was already there, and also uh, the uh, the company that came in to start a store. So uh, Haynes was a pretty going concern because of the gold rush and the military and uh, people just being coming and going through to Haynes uh, during the time of the gold rush. So it was it was really um, interesting to me to know, you know, that these things. There was a lot of things that came out of Haynes that we have as Clinkets because of Haynes, the people that were there. Um, One of the important things was uh, a robe that is called nachain, nach, nachain. That's the English term for it is chilkat robe. It was a type of weaving that was done by the Tsimshian, and the women in Haines. Jenny Clonot was one of the key people when she was young. They got one of those robes and they studied it, and it was way beyond them how it was really done. So they decided to take it and take it apart just a little at a time and keep a record of how it was done. And in order to make a chilkat robe, you weave from the top down, which is really unusual because weaving uh, of almost every kind in America is from the top down, from the bottom up. Forget which direction I'm going. And so it's just really important information to us that uh, the women took those robes, and some of the things they found out about it was how the design was made. Of course, they discovered that. But the other thing they discovered was the weaving that goes across was a special kind of yarn. And the yarn that they used when they spun it, they included uh, red cedar bark that was spun into the yarn. So these blankets, when they find them years and years later, and they're in good shape. The moths don't bother it because of the weaving, the cedar in there, and so they last for quite some time. So they they began to do the weaving like of their own designs and their own uh, the shape of the blanket never changes, but the designs do. So it's just so beautiful. My mother said that the weaving that today is called that's called raven's tail is was a blanket that was woven. My mother said by by the women in Seattle area, the tribe in Seattle area, and the anthropologists uh, studied these old raven's tail, and they couldn't figure out what kind of animal the yarn came from. And these after interviews, they found out from the women that it came from a dog, and the dog no longer exists. So they bred the dogs for the hair, and they wove it into to make these lightweight raven's tail weaving. So we have those two types of weaving that Haynes is really well known for keeping and passing that information on to other people, other families, and it was taught to today is being taught in a lot of different places, and I'm not sure about the yarn that they use, what it's like if they still have access to putting the red cedar in to spin it. So if you can imagine the spinning, they to in the old history, the women had a wheel, the machine that they used for spinning, but the Tlingit women did not. So they had to do it on their on their lap to to spin it in a certain way. So uh, it's things that happened in Haynes. Um, I think throughout history, it's just really uh, worth looking at and studying all the different things that came out of the history of Haynes. Um, and this is, I got three different stories about the same event. And the event I want to tell you about is the one that my father told. Since my mother was Chilkat and she was present when the story was told to us, so I believe the since there was another story that was pretty similar uh, from where was it? Anyway, from that was kept and recorded in the history of what I'm going to tell you about. So, because of the military being in Haines, the Navy also knew about them. So they came up what is called the Lynn Canal uh, to Haines, and of course the sailors. And this is what I'm going to tell you is the story that my father told, and apparently this was in the uh, early 1900s. So uh, the Navy ship probably was a sail ship that came to Haines, and the sailors went ashore and began drinking. Uh, so they got one of the local men that was with them. They were all drinking together, and they began to have fun with this man, Tlingit, and they they were messing around, and all of a sudden they realized that they killed him, and the Tlingit, the way they think is if you're going to kill if you kill somebody, you need to pay. uh, Otherwise, it's a war. So when they realized that they killed the man who was a Kagwantan, and he was not only that, he was also uh, a, a council of chief member. So he was important, and they killed him, and they got scared and ran, and the Tlingit men found him, and they wanted to demand payment from the Navy, but these guys, they quickly jumped into their ship and they took off. Uh, and apparently, they didn't really know where they were or which way to go. So they were in a panic to go. So the Kagwantan men quickly got a canoe and began a chase because it was a sail ship. And what happened is when they got down close to Huna area, they didn't know which way to go. So they got beached. And so the only thing I can think of, and I wasn't told this, but I'm thinking using a canoe, they probably knew a lot of shortcuts to follow. The men followed, and they discovered where their ship was stranded on the beach, and the sailors were busy trying to get it going, but the Clinkets arrived, and so it was too late for restitution payment. So they had a war, and they got all the sailors, and they killed them all. And my father said that it was the practice of the Clinkets that when you win a war, you can take their name and give it to members of your tribe or your clan. So they boarded the ship, and they took the clothes of the sailors, their hats and their clothes, as much as they can. And then on the back of the ship, it said U.S. Navy. So they took that name, and when they got back to Haynes, they gave the name to the women. So the clothing, as far as I can tell, was given to the women, and it was kind of distributed to the Kagwantan. In the story that was told by Jenny Conant, she said the Kagwantan women received that, but it's open to all of the women in the Eagle clans. So as I grew up, I remember performances with at parties performed by Chukanadi Shah with sailor shirts and hats, and also Shumga Katie wearing sailor hats as a family of women. And so today there's a gentleman in Juneau that said, no, only Kagwantan women can be U.S. Navy women, but that's not, I don't think that's true. But another thing that came out of this was not only the right for the Tlingit women to have be called the U.S. Navy women. The Tlingit word is Yanwa Shah, and some people say Wanwa Shah, and they also in Haynes only select a member of the Kagwantan to be head of the Yanwasha, to wear the captain's outfit, the hat and the jacket. So I think they vote, they have a get together and vote to decide who that would be, and it has to be selected. You don't just step in and say, okay, I can do it. It's somebody that's from Haynes gets to have that honor. But the Yanmar Shah uh, is quite an organization that is really interesting and a lot of fun when it comes to parties. They participate and entertain. And the one thing that happened uh, not too long ago is the U.S. Navy song. I think you're familiar with Anchors Away. And it was translated. Before this class, we were talking about translations, but this was translated by a woman from Huna. Her name was Ruth Lockey, Lokke, and she did a wonderful job uh, in this. And I have heard the song sung by a group of women from Haynes, and it was so wonderful. So I tried to locate the song so you can hear it. Carl, here,
I
I
think he
think,
just left.
yeah. Um, I think he forgot he's supposed to help me. Anyway, the song was sent to me and in my email. Uh, the translation. Let's see if I can get him. Hey Siri. Call Carl Kendall. Hey Siri. Call Carl Kendall. Hey Siri. Call Carl Kendall. I'll never get it. Uh, anyway, the song was translated into Tlingit, the words. I don't know the English words, but the song, we have a recording of someone singing the words so that you can hear it. So if you have any questions, maybe you can put them on chat and I'll see if my granddaughter can help me. Oh.
You tried to call me? Oh, you need to play it? Okay. Okay, hold on.
I think I want to play it twice.
Um, uh, were you able to hear that?
Yeah,
Anybody listen?
we can hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let it play then. Hold on. For some reason it stopped. Try that again.
Play it again. Yeah, we'll hear it again.
One more time.
Yeah.
That is cute.
Okay, thank you. So are we out of time? What time is it?
You got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that was a good finale. There is another recording of a group singing it that sounded so wonderful. And I want to try to locate it, but the person that sent me this recording also sent me the words in writing. So if there's any Kagwantan or any Yanwasha ladies that would like to learn the words, you can contact me. So, Gunachish.
Lakudzi Gunishish for the story.
Yeah. So we'll let you go a little bit early, a few minutes early. Thanks, Gunachish, for coming.